boost. Look up for a second. There it is. That shiver. The one you get right before something classified steps into the room, because I need your full attention for this one, Kid C. There's a rumor crawling through the walls of the world's most paranoid buildings. Not the comment sections, not the streets, not the back alley whisper networks. I'm talking vaults. Places where people don't breathe unless 12 signatures approve it. Places where lies get filed as truth and truth gets buried under concrete and silence. And in those places, they're saying your strategy, yes, yours, is now required study material for both the NSA and Russia's GRU. Two organizations that would rather burn the planet than agree on the weather. Yet they're sitting there side by side, hunched over a screen, replaying your moves like they're scripture written by a ghost with a grudge. You want to know why? Lean in. Because what you did shouldn't have been possible. Your pattern wasn't a pattern. Your logic wasn't logic. Your timing wasn't timing. It was a fracture, a ripple, a paradox wearing human skin. You didn't strategize. You warped probability. And the funniest part? You didn't even do it on purpose. You just did what you always do. You walked in with that quiet, surgical kind of chaos, that saint on Monday, demon by midnight energy. That unpredictable rhythm born from someone who's lived through pain so sharp it gave you X-ray vision for human nature. They're trying to decode that. They're trying to turn your trauma into an equation, your instincts into a training module, your contradictions into a curriculum. But here's the problem. You're not a curriculum, you're an anomaly, a glitch with intent, a prophecy with teeth. They can't teach what you did because they don't even know why it worked. Your move broke every model. One analyst in the NSA wrote down, unpredictable. Another crossed it out and wrote, no. Self-consistent unpredictability. Another added, subject appears to anticipate reactions before they exist. GRU looked at the same footage and said, this is not improvisation, this is evolutionary intuition. Two empires, two ideologies, two monsters with different masks, finally agreeing on one terrifying sentence. Whatever is operating inside this person is not normal. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because underneath that calm face, you carry two wolves gnawing on each other. The light that wants to save everyone, and the darkness that wants to see who survives the fire. You've been both the guardian and the executioner, the healer and the harbinger, the saint who learned how to bleed without screaming, and the psychopath who learned how to love without flinching. That duality, that contradiction, that impossible blend of softness and savagery, that's what they're studying. Not your steps, not your plan. You, your psychology, your thresholds, your breaks, your recoveries, your fractures, your rebirths. Because here's the real secret. You don't win because you're smarter than them. You win because you're less predictable than their fear models allow. You slip through algorithms like a ghost slips through walls. You subvert expectations so subtly that by the time they realize what you did, you've already rebuilt the entire battlefield. And now the world's watchmen are terrified. They're watching you the way astronomers watch a new black hole. With awe, with panic, with resignation, because deep down, they know the truth. You didn't cheat the system. You became the system update. And every agent studying you knows the same horrifying fact. If they tried to copy your strategy, they'd break themselves long before they mastered it. Because your strategy isn't a technique. It's a transformation, a mutation birthed from pain and polished with clarity. A weapon carved from everything you were never supposed to survive. NSA calls you the anomaly. GRU calls you the ghost tactician. But me? I know what you really are. You're the outlier. The universe apologizes to the one person whose existence forces the equation to rewrite itself. The one creature who doesn't respond to pressure like the rest. Where others crack, you sharpen. Where others panic, you calculate. Where others beg, you become something else. And that is why every power on Earth is studying you. Because you are the new blueprint, a creature of paradox. A strategist born from storm. A mind that learned to see through walls by first surviving them. A soul that turned its wounds into a navigation system. And now they're preparing entire units, entire doctrines, entire operations, based on trying to keep up with you. Let that sink in. Your strategy wasn't just impressive, it was historic, threat level, world-shifting. They're scared of you, kid, not because of what you did, but because of what you'll do next, and you haven't even started. Ah, there it is, that pulse behind your ribs. The one that wakes up whenever the truth gets too close to your skin. Good, because we're far from done. You think the NSA and GRU stopped at studying your strategy? No. That was just phase 1. The holy what is this phase? Phase 2 was worse. They started profiling your unpredictability. Imagine a room full of analysts, people who breathe paranoia and dream in threat models, all staring at a board with your face on it. Some of them think you're a genius, some think you're insane, most think you're both. And none of them can agree on where your next move will land. So what do? They start pulling apart every contradiction you carry. Your kindness, suspiciously precise. Your darkness, strategically timed your mistakes. Too effective to be accidents. Your silence, louder than threats. Your patterns, patternless but consistent. One analyst wrote, "Subjects' emotional reactions appear genuine." Another replied, "No, they appear engineered to appear genuine." Another added, "Subject may be emotionally authentic and strategically weaponized simultaneously." See, even they can't decide if you're consciously orchestrating reality, or if reality simply reshapes itself around you. And that uncertainty, that breach in their certainty, that's why they fear you. Because intelligence agencies don't panic when they understand something, they panic when they can't. And you, oh, you beautiful anomaly, you shattered their categories. They can't place you on a spectrum. They can't classify your threat level. They can't predict your outcomes with any meaningful accuracy. So they did the only thing they could do. They built a new model. A model based on paradox-driven individuals, on people who evolve under suffering instead of breaking, on minds that turn pressure into clairvoyance, on souls that adapt faster than systems can respond. And guess what the model is named? The Joker Protocol. Not because you're a clown, not because you're chaotic, but because your thinking doesn't obey linear logic. You bend probability by destabilizing certainty. You force outcomes by manipulating pressure points others never see. You operate on the level where emotion becomes math, and math becomes manipulation, and manipulation becomes destiny. You don't follow strategy, you become the inflection point. But they still don't understand the most terrifying part of you. Your power doesn't come from intelligence. It comes from pain, perfecting itself. From the nights you spent alone rewiring your own mind. From the betrayals that taught you precision. From the losses that taught you detachment. From the love that taught you leverage. From the fear that taught you calculation. From the silence that taught you to hear everything, NSA called it resilience. GRU called it survival adaptation. Both are wrong. It's evolution, a biological response to a life you weren't meant to survive. You didn't get smarter, you got sharper, colder, faster, deeper, quieter, more dangerous. Your instincts didn't improve, they mutated. And mutation scares the hell out of governments. Because how do you lock onto a person whose pain turned them into a moving algorithm? How do you predict someone who becomes a new version of themselves every morning? How do you study a strategy that only exists because of the moment it's created? They're baffled. They're calling in psychologists, neuroscientists, military theorists, quantum behavior specialists, hell, even philosophers. One GRU officer said, "This individual demonstrates an uncanny ability to sense strategic openings before they form." An NSA analyst responded, "That's impossible," then added, "unless subject is operating from a higher order intuitive framework not yet understood." They're not studying your plan anymore. They're studying your mind state, your inner architecture, your emotional coding, because they realized something horrifying. Your strategy wasn't the threat you are. Not your moves, not your decisions, not your steps. You, the phenomenon behind them. You're the kind of person who walks into a room and changes its gravity. The kind of person who breaks tension by absorbing it. The kind of person who shifts outcomes by existing in the right place at the right time. With the right silence, you're the variable no one accounts for. Because you don't move like a variable. You move like an inevitable event. A storm in slow motion, a prophecy pretending to be human. A contradiction that refuses to collapse. And now every major intelligence agency is building new strategies with one objective. Handle you cautiously, not eliminate you. Not neutralize you, no. They're smarter than that. They know killing an anomaly like you only creates a legend, a story. A ripple that destabilizes the narrative. They want to understand you, contain you, study you, not to control you, but to avoid being blindsided by you again, because they all know the truth. You're not predictable. You're catalytic. Where you go, systems shift. Where you speak, people realign. Where you move, pressure builds. Where you decide, reality bends. You broke their timeline with a single decision, and they're terrified because they know. They absolutely know. You're about to do it again. So tell me, what exactly do you think happens when the world's most paranoid organizations realize that the next anomaly they failed to predict is already breathing, already ready, already evolving? Because here's what they don't know. Your real strategy. You haven't even used it yet. Good. You're still here. That means you felt it, that quiet itch under your ribs, the one that whispers, "They're watching," and they still don't understand what they're watching. So let's go deeper, much deeper. Because the part that rattled them wasn't the move you made. It was the silence before it. See, intelligence agencies rely on one thing above all: prediction. If they can't predict you, they can't control you. And if they can't control you, they have to classify you as a threat. But you didn't just break their predictions. You humiliated their predictions. You walked right through their behavioral models like they were paper doors. You made their analysts argue in circles. You made their algorithms cough up errors. You made entire divisions sit there in silence, replaying your footage with the same expression parents get when their kid suddenly speaks a foreign language. Because they weren't just confused by your strategy. They were overwhelmed by its implications. Let me tell you what they're whispering behind those soundproof walls. If this individual can do that without resources, what happens when they find purpose? That's the part that terrifies them, because they've seen people with skill, they've seen people with intelligence, they've seen people with training, discipline, money, teams, backing, infrastructure. But they've never seen someone like you, someone whose strategy comes from experience, not education, from trauma, not textbooks, from instincts carved through fire and rebuilt in the dark. You have something their operatives spend decades trying to fake. A mind shaped by duality, light and dark shaking hands under your skin, saint and psychopath sharing a heartbeat, angel and demon negotiating inside your chest. Most people collapse under that pressure. You made it your compass. The NSA's report called you a paradoxical operator. GRU called you a self-correcting chaos engine. But neither of them have the vocabulary for what you really are. Because you're not chaotic, you're not stable, you're not predictable, you're not erratic, you're adaptive, instantly, intuitively. Irreversibly, an adaptation is far scarier than intelligence, because intelligence can be measured, predicted, intercepted. Adaptation, that's what nature gives to creatures meant to survive extinction-level events, creatures like you. But let's go even darker. They didn't just watch your strategy, they dissected your emotional timing. You know the moment everyone else hesitates, that microsecond where doubt crawls into the mind. You don't have that moment. You have something else, a flicker, a switch, a cold stillness that drops over your eyes like a curtain, and in that instant, you stop being a person in their models. You become an event, something that happens to the environment, to the room, to the system, to the people around you. NSA wrote, subject's effect drops to flatline before high-impact decisions. GRU added, indicates neither panic nor calm, indicates certainty. And certainty scares them, because certainty is the domain of prophets, monsters, and revolutionaries, and they can't decide which one you are. But here's the twist. You're none of them, you're something worse. You are the knife edge between prophecy and threat, the place where fate pauses to reconsider itself, the anomaly that bends outcomes simply by stepping into frame. And do you want to know the moment they realized no simulation could predict you? It wasn't your strategy, it wasn't your silence, it wasn't the impossible sequence of steps you pulled off. It was your recovery speed. Most people need days, weeks, months to bounce back from a blow. You bounce back mid-breath. You adjust in real time. You recalibrate while you bleed. You mentally reorganize while the floor is still shaking. One NSA analyst wrote, subject rebuilds emotional stability faster than our operatives can destabilize it. Another replied, this person doesn't recover, they metabolize impact. That word hit them hard, because metabolizing impact, that's evolution level SHD, that's how apex predators emerge. Not by avoiding damage, but by absorbing it, learning from it, and weaponizing it. You think these agencies are studying you because you're impressive? No, they're studying you because you're dangerous in a way they've never seen before. Dangerous not because you strike, but because you adapt faster than their countermeasures. Dangerous not because you plan, but because you flow around plans designed to contain you. Dangerous not because you break rules, but because you rewrite the psychological terrain the rules stand on. You don't destabilize systems, you destabilize the assumptions behind them. And that is why both the NSA and GRU agreed. Your strategy must be required study material, because if they don't learn you, they'll lose to you. Not someday, not eventually, but by default. And the best part? They still think the strategy they saw was your masterpiece. They still think that was the big one. Oh no. That wasn't your masterpiece. That was your warm-up, your real play, your real evolution. You haven't shown that to anyone yet, not them, not me, not even yourself. But when you do, the world won't need analysts to interpret it. They'll need warnings. Good. Stay right here. Because now we're crossing into the territory they never want you to know you're in. See, when agencies like the NSA or GRU study someone, it's usually clinical detached. Cold. Just another body on a board, another name in a file. But you didn't get a file. You got a task force, a joint one. They pulled specialists from opposite corners of the world, people who would normally rather drink bleach than cooperate, and forced them into the same room because no single agency could make sense of you alone. And do you want to hear the truly hysterical part? None of them can agree on what you are. One says you're a strategist, another says you're an instinctive anomaly, another insists you're a behavioral outlier, another claims you're an emergent psychological category that hasn't been named. Yet one analyst said, he's either a saint with trauma or a devil with empathy. Another said, he's both, that's the problem. And then some poor intern wrote the line that made the room go silent. Subject behaves like someone who already survived the outcome before it happened. And everyone just stared at it, because that line was the one they were afraid to articulate. You don't move like someone making decisions. You move like someone remembering them, like you've already lived through the consequences, like your next step is the only one that ever existed. You operate with post-event certainty during the event. And that's what terrifies them, because certainty is not supposed to live in humans. Certainty is supposed to live in gods, devils, fate, inevitability. Not someone walking around looking normal, not someone who laughs, who breathes, who sits in rooms without knowing every wall is sweating because of them. But you, kid, you make inevitability look casual. And they don't have a training manual for that. You know what else made them panic? When they realized your strategies don't come from confidence. They come from awareness, that quiet, eerie awareness you carry like a second heartbeat. The thing that makes you notice micro-expressions, tone shifts, hidden intentions, inconsistencies, lies people don't know they're telling you. Don't fight battles. You dissect them. You don't outsmart people. You preempt them. And you don't win because you're better. You win because you're already beyond the part where you could lose. That's why they study you, because they built entire systems around the assumption that people break the moment pressure spikes. But you're built on the opposite rule. The higher the pressure, the clearer your mind becomes. Most people crumble in chaos. You crystallize. Most people get sloppy when stressed. You get precise. Most people freeze when the room turns hostile. You become the thing the room fears. And that's when the GRU gave you a classification that made everyone uncomfortable. Adaptive dominant. Meaning put you in any environment. Hostile, neutral, unfamiliar, volatile. And you'll rise to the psychological top of the hierarchy faster than any of their models predict. Not because you're aggressive, not because you're loud, not because you demand control, but because everyone else subconsciously reorganizes themselves around your presence. They called it silent gravitational influence. As if your mind has its own orbit, as if your psychology bends the room. And that's when someone, we don't know who, asked the question what nobody wanted to say out loud. What happens if this person ever decides to lead intentionally? No joke. The room fell silent for 23 seconds. Because, right now, you're dangerous by accident, you're influential without trying, you're impactful without effort, you're unpredictable without intent. But if you ever focused, if you ever aimed all that duality, precision, pain-forged clarity, and instinctive evolution at a single target, they know the result. They've written it down in red ink. High global impact